following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Fish, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. There's Astro and Ron Russell joining us for the show. Astro always has to make his little appearance.
Joining you for the show. It is my show.
Well, not him though. It's not his show. That's right. So we want to say hi to our cool, outrageous man about town, Ron Russell.
Since when did I become the cool, outrageous man about town?
You've always been the cool outrageous. That's been your title since you've been on the show for 13 years.
Yeah, well, I never really paid attention. Like now,
I said it every single time.
Yeah, you know what? When you do a show, you don't listen. You automatically, like mechanical. You know, you go on and you do your thing and then go off. You really don't hear what other people are saying. You're busy thinking about what you're going to say.
So what's up, chat room? We got a few people starting to come in. Thank you. B. Claudia says great hair. B. Claudia is in the chat room from Germany, you guys. Lady Lake Music's in Florida. They say hi, Jimmy and Ron. Hi, Astro. You look super great. Great haircut. That's his, if you weren't here last week, that's his General Milan for Clown Motel 3 haircut, you guys, which you can still go to Indiegogo and plug in Clown Motel 3 because they're still raising funds for the film. So you can join the team and should be good. Stefan Bell just joined us. Hey, Stefan, how you doing? Say hi to Tina.
I'm the only one in the movie that's authentic, and I do it right. Soldiers do not have mustache, beard, or long hair. You can't. You go in the military, they cut your hair off, you got to shave your face. But in Clown Motel 3, they have beards and long hair. They look like hippies.
Oh, we don't know that yet, though. Clown Motel 2, they did.
They did in Clown Motel 2. So I'm going to put my 2 cents in Clown Motel 3 and say, listen, boys, you got to shave and cut your hair short if you're going to play my soldiers. Because I can't have soldiers that look like slobs. Because that's just not the military. And you, the viewer, know that. So I have to set an example. So my hair is cut military because, you know, I wet it and comb it back. It just looks short. And I am military. You know, I'm the part. But then again, I'm an old actor. And actors from my day believed in authenticity. Today, it's, you know, you, the audience, just imagine it. Imagine that I have a general hat on or something. And it's ridiculous because that's not what movie making is. We do the imagination for you. You don't use your imagination. You don't have to. So that's my speech for the day. If you're going to be an actor, play the part. Research the part. If it takes place in 1950, 1930, look the part. You cannot wear today's clothes in 1928. It just doesn't look well.
Absolutely.
And it's up to wardrobe, you know, budget. A lot of times they say, oh, the budget is so low we can't afford to get vintage clothes. Well, you know what?
Then you got to change the movie.
You know, work on it. You know, you may have things at home that look vintage. There are ways of dressing to look vintage. Or get a collar, for example. Instead of having it like that, pinch it. Put a pin in there, safety pin, and a tie. And then you're 1929. Because in 1929, the shirts had the bar that went in it, that held the collars together. And ladies, there are ways of rolling up a skirt to look like a Charleston skirt, or shoes that look like a Queen Anne shoe. There are so many things that we have at home that we can improvise on the set to look the era.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of cool, fun movie stuff coming up, you guys. We're working on Ron's film, The Cursed Gift of Magic. Keeping
coming along really well. We're getting some big stars in that movie. who are interested. They love the script.
We've got people reading the script.
So I'm happy. Even if they never come into the film, I'm happy that they said, oh, we love the script. It's what do they call it? Adorable, funny, delightful, entertaining, amusing, all these wonderful words. So I'm happy that these big shots, I mean, like, Paul Sorvino, who we lost, who has passed away. Paul was supposed to play the head of the mafia, and he loved the part. And he said to his wife, that she told me, that Paul said that the script was just fabulous, funny, loaded with laughs. So that's good. I'm happy. Now we just have to get the money to make the damn thing.
Which is a difficulty for everything, but we've got several films.
It's not $150,000 film. I'm not allowed to tell you how much it is, but like The Three Little Bears,
And all the films that we're working on are a little bit higher budget than some of the other films that we've done. We got another movie, Dog Moon. I have a phone call after this with an A-list horror director to direct it, so that's exciting for us. We're also working on a film with Cindy Ladylake and Jennifer James called Saving Paradise, and we're going to be releasing information on that soon. And so we got a lot of really fun things going on. Plus Zombie with a Shotgun 2, and we've got Clown Motel 3, and we've got O Negative, and we have Red River. So we have several films.
See, I could go Indiegogo with my movie, but I wouldn't be able to give you the movie that I can give you with a higher budget. And this movie is a real movie. It's not a stupid movie where it doesn't have a story or a dialogue, and people just go around chopping and killing. It's not a chop. It is, but it's not a chop movie. It's a story. It's a thriller. It's interesting. You want more than just to see a head roll off and laugh like some idiot because somebody's head rolled off. It's a film of quality. It's a feature film. It'll go to movie theaters and then to one of the Netflix things, whatever they are.
Yes, so it should be a lot of fun, you guys. Things are moving forward. We're also possibly going to be going to Florida for a little trip coming up.
I need a vacation.
And
I need to get away from California. I need to get away from the business. I need to get away from everything. I wish I'd get away from Jimmy for a while. And I don't mean that to be mean, but marriages that last as long as ours, there should be a separate vacation, because you do need a vacation from each other after a while, because you start to think alike and you no longer are an individual. And because of Jimmy's age and because of Jimmy's profession, I have given up myself, my all. I've become invisible, and Jimmy is visible because he's going to live long. I'm not. I'm 84 next week, 2 weeks. So I don't have much life.
This is May 1st.
Yeah, I don't have much life left ahead of me. So I give it all to Jimmy so Jimmy can build his life. But in doing so, you deplete yourself of self. And once you deplete yourself of yourself, you're in big trouble, because you're a shell, an empty shell. And you feel you haven't any purpose in life. You feel as though you've done it all. And now it's time to exit stage left.
You're not going anywhere.
It's a sad time. I can't say to everyone out there, I hope you reach 90, because I don't know that reaching 90 is necessarily a good thing. I know a lot of 90-year-old people who are not very happy being 90. They're in pain, they're ill, or they're no longer beautiful when they look in the mirror, and nobody wants them in movies. So they're obsolete. They become unnecessary.
They don't agree with you in the chat room.
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Okay.
You always interrupt me, but that's what married people do. That's why in my movie I have Renee Taylor, who's a vintage actress, Carol Kane, who's a vintage actress, Christopher Walken, who's a vintage actor. These are the people of great years of Hollywood. These are wonderful actors who, because of their age, Hollywood thinks, well, they're old. What if their dentures fall down while they speak? Or what if they pee themselves on the set? I mean, I don't know what people's idea of being 84 is, but I don't do any of those things. Nor does Renee or any of the actors I mentioned. So get the crap out of your head, because you're in your 80s. You
See, now you're coming back, because in the chat room they're saying, like, never heard you be so negative.
I wasn't negative. I was being honest. No, I'm never negative. You know that. I don't believe in negativity. But from negative comes positive. You must remember that. From bad comes good. Everything bad that happens to you is a reason, and the reason is a good one. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from life.
And we're going to see Renee Taylor when we go to Florida.
Yep. You learn when somebody you love dies that spend more time with the ones that are alive while you can, because once they're gone, you can't say, gee, I wish I would have spent more time with them. These are the points. So you see, even in death, we learn. There's positivity. Life is positive. When you're born with a positive idea, and you have to maintain it. So I'm not being negative, but you have to be honest. And you can't always be like some moron that runs around, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so wonderful, oh, I love life, because that person needs help. I mean, nobody's like that. We all got shit that happens in our life. I don't care who you are. Angelina Jolie, with all her money and her great beauty, and I know Angie. I know her since a kid. She grew up in my house. I keep telling you that. My daughter Deirdre's friend in school. Angie had all her problems, just like everybody else. And she still has problems. And her money doesn't make her problems go away, nor does her fame or her great beauty. None of the attributes that she has makes things go away. They go away on their own. They go away when we start to think positive. And we say, you know what? That's not going to bother me. That's not going to get to me. That's not going to stop me. When you use all those words, you're okay. I'm 84 years old in a couple of weeks. Gee whiz, how did I get here so fast? I was just 35.
B. Claudia says you're very present, and it's an honor to know you.
No, B, you don't understand. In my private...
She's got a 91-year-old mom.
Well, I have a 103-year-old friend. That's all well and good. But what I'm talking about is there are problems when you marry someone 23 years younger than you. Problems arise later on in years. Luckily, Jimmy's not athletic anymore where he runs around. He's like an old man now, too. So I keep up with him.
I don't have a knee.
Yeah. But there are thinking. The music is different. The lifestyle is different. The desires, the wants are different. And I alienate myself. And I'm talking to you all out there like you're my best friend. Like I would talk to my buddy in New York. My buddy's in New York. I'm happy, but I'm invisible. Yes, you say, Ron, you're all over the place. Your picture is, that's Ron Russell. There are two people here. There's Ron Russell and there's Ronnie from Astoria. And I'm Ronnie from Astoria right now, the regular guy. When I'm Ron Russell, yeah, I can smile and do all that Hollywood bullshit. But when that's over, you go back to being Ronnie from Astoria. And if nothing is there to hold you together, you start to chip away and you start to fall apart. And after a length of time, you say to yourself, what the hell am I doing? I'm 84 years old. What am I, crazy? I should be in Boca Raton sitting with all the Jews playing mahjong and cards, like I'm happiest doing, with all the yentas talking about everybody in the buildings. That's what old people do. We have fun. We don't have to feel obsolete.
Well, you're not obsolete.
No, I'm not obsolete, but many are. I know, I have many friends that are my age, and I see how obsolete they are. And I hear it in their voice when they say to me, oh, I wish I were you. You got some great life. And I say to them, you think so? Not so. No one has a great life. We all have the same life. Just some of us have different problems, bigger problems. Some have smaller problems, but we all have problems. There's not a day we don't wake up to face a new dragon.
Okay.
And Jewish people right now are facing many dragons in the street. Horrible people who are saying terrible things about them. Jewish people are wonderful people. I know. I had a father that was Jewish. So I know what Jews are all about. And they're great people. I love Jewish people. And I'm happy that I have Jewish blood. Although I was never bar mitzvahed, I identify as Jewish always.
All right, we ready?
I'm ready. I did my speech.
All right, everybody. First, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'd appreciate it if you're listening, if you'd listen on Apple Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Prime. But really, we want you to listen on Apple Podcasts because we have a chance to make a little bit of money if you guys do that. So please listen on Apple Podcasts.
Little bit of money, not even enough for lunch.
But that's okay. We'll take it. And again, we want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. We're going to bring on our first guest. Her name is Karen Eileen Gordon. Let's bring her on and see if we can hear her.
Tessie one, two, test. Hello. Hello.
First question, are you related to Flash Gordon?
Yes. Flash Gordon is my 18th cousin, 12 times removed.
Good, because that's my idol and my hero all my life was Flash Gordon.
We actually had him on the show. We had Sam Jones on the show not like 2 years ago. It was great. We had a blast.
And I wear a Flash Gordon t-shirt because when I was a kid, Flash Gordon was everything we wanted to be when we grew up. Now, question.
Oh, no, we didn't introduce it.
Wait, we didn't introduce it. You just said.
No. Hey, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented Karen Eileen Gordon. Hello and welcome to the show. Yay!
Thank you for having me. Hello.
This is Ron Russell, my cool, outrageous man about town co-host.
Question.
Hello,
No, wait. I want to ask you this question.
Okay, ask the question.
Who did you want to be growing up as a kid?
I read all the books about ballerinas and nurses. So I wanted to be a ballerina who in her spare time was a nurse. That was my vision as a kid.
That's funny. Everybody in my family is a nurse.
Did you ever get a chance to study ballet?
I did. I did study ballet. I had a big giant pink tutu that I wanted to wear to school, and I had tantrums because nobody would let me do that. It was perfectly reasonable to me that I would wear my tutu to school, but I got a big no. And the nursing, let me think about that. I did an internship in college where I thought maybe I was going to go to medical school. I did an internship with a gynecologist and an obstetrician gynecologist. And the first day of the internship, they covered me in those paper clothes and took me into the operating room, and I watched 2 babies being born, and I almost passed out. I was passed out or barfed, depending. It was unbelievable. Day one. So yes, I got to do both.
My daughter Deirdre studied to be a what's a holistic doctor, a holistic medicine, and she was going to be a holistic doctor. And one day they had a cadaver on the table, and they were going to dissect this 80-year-old woman. And my daughter walked in and looked at it and thought it was my mother, looked like grandma, and passed out, went right down on the ground, and she never went back.
She never went back.
She never went back to school again.
That's a little bit of a no. That's a shock. That's too much.
So we have a bunch of people joining us in the chat room. Say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hello, chat room humans. Hello.
I have a question for you. You're from Florida, right?
I am currently Miami adjacent. So I heard you in the green room talking about Florida. Come on down. I will show you around.
Where are you in Florida? Where do you live in Florida?
Do you know South Florida? I'll give you.
Very well. I was born in Miami. I grew up in West Palm Beach. Went to high school, and I went to Gainesville. I went to high school,
and I lived 21 years in Boca Raton.
Boca Raton is about 20 minutes from me. I am in a tiny little town that was designed by the developers who designed Disney. So there used to be topiaries in the highway called Weston.
Oh yes, so my boss, when I used to have a clothing store, one of the guys I worked with lived in Weston. I've been there a million times. I haven't been there in 20 years, but it's beautiful there.
I've been in Weston.
Come on down.
Here's how I knew you were from Florida. So I was looking at all your credits on IMDb, and when I lived in Florida, I was a clothing designer, but I was an extra in every single thing that was ever shot there. So I did 7 episodes of The Glades, and I did about 20 episodes of that movie with that TV show.
By the way,
hang on, wait, about the spy. Wait, I'm talking.
Wait, just a second. I have to interrupt you. Who was an extra? Go ahead.
Oh, I did say that. I said
he said that. I started that way too. That's a really I love extras.
Jeffrey Donovan and Bruce Campbell, that show that was down there, and every movie that was shot actually in Florida. I was an extra in every one. I'm in like 50 of them. Pain No Gain, like everything that was shot there. And so I saw your credits and I was like, okay, she was on the Glades. And so I know she's from Florida because you had a bunch of other things that you did from Florida.
I did. And the hilarious thing is I moved to LA. So I was in LA for a decade, but every big juicy thing that I booked, almost every big juicy thing had me coming back home to Florida. So that was kind of amazing.
So so is it working okay for Florida? Because we're probably going to move back to Florida. We hate it here in California.
No. Don't say we hate it here. We don't. You may hate it. I don't hate it here. I'm not comfortable here.
Okay.
I'm a New Yorker originally.
I hear that accent. Can I tell you? I have. How you doing? What are you doing, Ron? How you doing? Yeah.
That's why they hire me all the time to play killers. But seriously, when you are a New Yorker, you are born in the ultimate place in the world. You are used to everything at your fingertips. You are used to sophisticated, intelligent, well-scholared people, and you're also interested in an audience that doesn't like junk. New Yorkers, they don't like these chop 'em up, stupid, bloody movies without sense.
Which he's in a million of.
Which that's why I'm getting. Now I'm getting away from all of that, and I'm going to be in a lot of good movies, important movies that are not.
I was
horror.
taking notes. You on the titles you listed. They sound really amazing. The list.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, you know New York. Have you ever played live in New York audience?
Let me think about that. Right before pandemic, I was just about to literally get on a plane and go to like a giant solo festival out of New York City called United Solo. So that was going to be my live in front of the New York Humans debut, and it got delayed. So I'm working my way back there.
Okay.
I've worked, I did stand-up comedy for 45 years, and I've worked all over.
Wow.
When I had to play New Jersey and New York, I had to sharpen my fangs because I had it's a tough audience to get to laugh and to make sense and to get them your way. You just can't go out there and be stupid because they walk out. They're very, I don't know if we're snobby, Jimmy. Do you think New Yorkers are snobs?
Maybe.
You think so?
Maybe. It was Burn Notice. That's the show. I couldn't think of the name.
Burn Notice. Yes, that was a great show. And Bloodline was another.
Do you think New York is snobby?
No, well, my mom is from the Bronx, and so I have New York DNA. So I feel like I'm kind of a New Yorker without having lived there. So I don't think they're snobby. I think New Yorkers don't suffer any bullshit. They're very to the point. They're very direct. And again, this is general, not every single New Yorker in the history of New York. Yeah.
Now, your mother's from the Bronx.
She's from Pelham Parkway.
Your mother's from the Bronx. So
Pelham Parkway.
So that means you're Jewish. That means you're Jewish.
Yes, I'm Jewish, and I'm also.
You see how we New Yorkers know? You see how we know where everybody comes from. There's not a Christian on that road. Trust me.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. Yes, and
miles and miles. That was called years ago when we went up to the mountain. Because I'm part Jewish. We went up to the mountains, and we used to say we were going up to the Jewish Alps. If we went up to the Bronx, that was the Jewish Alps.
I've never heard that. I'm going to have to ask her about that.
The Jewish Alps.
I like that.
So here's something that Ron's going.
You know what? I want to say something. I like you.
I like you too. I think you have such a good personality.
I'm crying. I'm crying on the interview. I like you guys too.
You have instant personality. And you know why? Because you're Jewish. Jewish people. No, don't laugh. Don't laugh.
No, I'm laughing because you're adorable. Am I allowed to say that? You're adorable.
Yes, you could say
every Jew I'm related to or I know has a walking in the kitchen. So what's doing, darling? What are we eating? When are we eating?
Honey, you look hungry. Let me fix you something. I mean, this is...
And we all greet each other with the biggest smile and love in our hearts.
My turn.
Wait,
you're going to like this.
I'm on a roll. Jewish people are... I have, not because No, I'm not prejudiced. Jewish people have heart. They love their children. They love their food. They love their
Very
friends.
similar to Italian. He's Italian.
They
and Jewish.
open their home
Yes,
to you.
yeah.
You come in, darling. What can I get you? You need, you want? What's doing? It's a wonderful culture. And these people now who are hurting Jewish people are absolutely the criminals of the planet. They are criminal to do this.
Okay, so here's what I want to say that he's going to like.
What am I going to like?
First of all, one of the
You're
films.
giving me $1 million.
No. First thing I'm going to say is too. The other thing I was in a bunch, and I was an extra every day, and you were one of the main characters in it. Was Bachelor Party 2: The Last Temptation.
You were on set? Are you kidding me?
I was on set every day, and I got in trouble because I didn't know you could because I'm always around celebrities my whole life.
Yeah.
I was just walking up and hanging out with Harlan Williams and all these people, you know, and they were like coming after me and screaming at me, "You're an extra, you can't be here." And I was like, "Fuck it, like, they're okay with it." So I would always get in trouble. But I was on that set every day. I was an extra every day on
I'm
that
so
film.
sorry I didn't know you then. We would have hung
But
out.
I didn't know
That's
you too because I
amazing.
like you. You're fun. But here's what he's gonna like.
No,
So-
here's what I don't
No.
like, what
What?
you just said.
What?
Uh-oh,
because-
what happened?
I experienced that when I made a movie with Sophia Loren and Ted Bunter, and I was an extra.
Amazing.
I was a soldier. And I'm like Jimmy, I'm very talkative. So I went over to Sophia and I started talking to her in Italian, and she laughed and she said back to me in Italian, "Your Italian is as bad as my English." And we got along just fine. And one of those punks came over and said, "Hey, soldier, away. You can't be near the stars." And Sophia looked at him and she said, "Oh, no. Let him stay here." And she went against that guy because she's a good woman.
Thank you
That
for the goddess.
bullshit
Yes.
that on set has got to go.
Yes.
That happened to me on Burn Notice too, because I went up to Bruce Campbell because to me he was the big star, and Jeffrey Donovan was there, and I didn't know who the fuck he was. I wanted to get a picture with him, and he was like, "Oh, this is the star of the movie," you know, Jeffrey Donovan. They were nice though; they didn't knock me around, but anyway,
Good.
going back, so this is something he will like. So one of our favorite independent movies, and you have a little role in it. But
Stop
Ron's friends with really good friends with Lainey Kazan, and we had Bruce Valanche on our TV show. We got 17 million plays. I've met Carmen Electra a bunch, and we just met Jai Rodriguez. I've never met Saul Rubinek, but that's Oy vey, my son is gay. She's in it.
Correct.
Oh, what
Correct.
part?
Like a
I'm a-
reporter, right?
I'm a reporter,
wa-
and I was a reporter. So the great backstory here is at the time they were filming that movie in Spokane, Washington, I was the personal assistant to Lainey Kazan. That was my job in LA. I was her
I
assistant.
feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I know Lainey well. Anybody, she's had about 100 million assistants in a month. Oh, she's great. She's fun though.
She
but she's
is
black.
fantastic and demanding as she should be. And so this was my first travel experience with her. And to her great good credit, they were like looking for somebody to be the reporter. And I was like, I used to actually be a reporter. And Lainey gave me permission to step away from my assistant duties and film a role in this movie. So I just want to send some huge love to Ms. Lainey
Yes,
Kazan. because I
fabulous.
was-
And it's a really
yeah.
good movie.
I
It's
love
a very
that.
good
Yeah.
I
movie.
love
It
that movie.
is. It was so much fun to do. Everybody was hilarious. I got in trouble because I was laughing like between takes. So I had to
And
figure out a
Lainey
way to be
was
quiet.
beautiful. Lainey was beautiful in that movie. And she
Gorgeous.
did a fabulous job.
Yes.
Fabulous job. I love Lainey.
Yeah,
We
me
wanted
too.
Lainey for my movie, but unfortunately, situations have arisen where we can't do it with Lainey.
Okay.
But she
Okay.
was supposed to star in my movie, and she had to step down. And now Renee Taylor has taken over that position.
Renee Taylor's amazing.
You know who Renee Taylor is? Yes, you do.
Yes,
know
of
Renee.
course. Yes. Carol, and you said Carol Kane, and I almost fell over. Yeah.
We sent her the
Renee,
script yesterday.
Renee plays my wife. She's a Jewish bookie, and I'm an Italian mafia. And it's 1943, and we go out to get the Nazi saboteurs that are trying to blow up the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It's a
Wow.
hilariously funny Jewish movie. You're going
Dark
to love
comedy.
it. You will love it.
Can't
I
wait.
wish we could
When the
put.
Jews get
I
back.
would love to put her in it somewhere because she's. I'm
Kat,
looking at her.
yes, put me in.
I'm looking at you, and I'm saying, why didn't I meet her earlier when I was
Ah.
casting?
We'll find a place for you.
No, I
All
need
right.
it. No, she has everything I need for for a special character, but that character's been taken already.
Okay. Well, blessings to the actress that got it. Yay for her. So
no, you know what, honey? Today is what's today, and tomorrow it's all different. You know that.
that's right.
By the time we actually get funding,
By the
things
time,
can change.
by the time we shoot the movie, it'll probably be starring Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi.
I sent I followed you on Instagram, so follow me back on Instagram and send me your email and stuff, and that way we'll see what we can do. Because also,
no, she's still Jewish. She makes believe she's not, but she is. She has all the Jewish mannerisms, all the Jewish inyos, you know, the stuff I like, the stuff that the characters need.
Well, plus I've got 9 films in different stages of development, so I'm always looking for cool actors and actresses.
Holy
to
No,
work
I love
with.
it.
I like your persona
I
too.
like your persona a
So
lot.
one of the big things that you've done, and believe it or not, I've never even seen this, even though several of the people in the show have been on our show. But I want to talk about it a little bit. Is Magic City, because that takes place in Florida too, doesn't it?
That place takes place in 1959, Miami Beach, in a fictitious hotel that's modeled on the Fontainebleau. Yes. Yes. So it's all true.
We've actually had Brett Rice on the show. Esai Morales has been on the show. It stars Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you guys. Everybody knows him because even though he's probably more known for The Walking Dead, this was a really big show, Magic City. It was a really big show. It has Stephen Strait, Danny Houston, Michael Rispoli, Alex Rocco, Kelly Lynch, James Caan, Sherilyn Fenn. I mean, it's a huge cast of A-list people.
And in 1959,
Correct.
the 21st Street Beach in Miami was Carnival, because that was the gay beach. The gay beach in Miami was 21st Street, right where the restaurant was on the corner. The famous Jewish guy, the hamburger, hot dog guy. What was his name? The famous one.
Famous,
Everybody-
not Nathan.
No, the lines were out the street waiting to get in. His was a diner on the corner.
I don't think you're gonna have to tell-
Wolfies.
Oh my
Wolfies.
goodness,
Back
Wolfies.
in 1959, on the corner of 21st Street and Collins,
Wow.
was all the gay bars and the gay beach. And I remember being like 19 years old and wearing a very skimpy bathing suit and walking down the beach. And I met a lot of nice guys, a lot of decent gay men.
Wow.
I love it. So how was Magic
I was
City?
cute when I was young.
He's cute now.
You're
No, no.
still cute. Exactly. I need to tell Ron, I need to tell you something because I was listening in the green room. My grandmother, God bless her, almost made it to 103. I know you said you have a 103-year-old friend. She used to say to me all the time, life doesn't even get started until you're in the 60s. And I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about yet, but she was like, you just wait. She's like, so you're going to happy birthday in advance. You're a young thing. My grandmother would look at you and go, he's a tadpole. So just wanted to tell you that.
I'll be 60, so I hit 60 in October. So this is
Happy
before I let you know. So tell me though, I want to know.
60 was good. 60's good.
I want to know, how is Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Because like he's such, I mean, he's like one of the biggest stars on the planet now, and
Yes.
he comes across. I've read a bunch of interviews and I've seen him, but we've never met him. He seems like a super nice guy. Was he cool?
He was ridiculously cool. Okay, Jeffrey, big love to you. He would walk onto set, not every day, but a lot of times when I was on set, he would walk onto set and with this big booming voice and like tell a joke. And he would be like another day in the pits, people, you know, or something really funny, like to the whole cast and crew. And he was just very warm and approachable and funny, and obviously a killer actor. He disappeared into that character. It was amazing. So he played my boss on the show. I was his right-hand goddess. I was the secretary for the fictitious hotel. So I got to see him a lot and work with him a lot. And he was amazing. He has a great energy. He's very grateful and humble. He was just supportive, like all the things you would hope that
I'm
your
glad to
favorite
hear that.
actor-
I'm just glad to hear that because you always like it when the people that you think are really great, you know, like somebody doesn't come and say, well, they were kind of like a dick or something.
Yes.
It's nice that he's like really cool.
So
Yeah.
okay, so Gordon is not your name. With your background, your name cannot be Gordon.
Well, it's a really interesting thing that everybody's trying to research on Ancestry.com. I have a feeling we have some lineage in Scotland. So there's a Gordon clan from Aberdeen, and I know a bit about the history. There was a time when the wealthy Scottish households took in Jewish people to work in the house and gave them the name Gordon. So that could be part of the deal, but we're still trying to figure it out. I love the idea that I have some Scottish link. We're working on finding that out.
So
wait.
wait.
You know, people think because I'm Italian, you can't be Jewish. People identify Judaism with nationality. Judaism is a religion.
Yeah.
Anyone can be Jewish, from
Anybody.
the man in the moon to us. So you can be a Gordon and be Jewish. I was just hoping that maybe there was a Gordonberg.
a Gordonowitz, Gordonstein.
Gordonowitz, yeah. I like
Gordonowitz.
Gordonowitz.
My
That's your new
grandmother.
name now, Eileen Gordonowitz.
I know, Karen Eileen Gordonowitz, Gordonberg. My grandmother, my mom's mom, came over from Russia on a boat. Like, that's the story. She almost sank on the way over. We don't
You look
know.
Russian.
Yes, I've Russian. The Russian blood here. It's Russian blood.
And you do look Russian. You do look Russian.
It's a compliment. I'll take it. But we don't know. She came in through Ellis Island. We found her name where she signed it on the document. So we don't know what her name was, but the name was recorded as Press, Press. So that's in my lineage. But the Gordons go all the way back as Gordons, like as many generations as we have found so far. So we're still looking.
You know who you don't necessarily remind me facially of her, but vocally a lot of bit. Did you stand up comedy at all?
I was listening when you were talking. I have done stand up comedy. I was in the Belly Room on Sunset at the Laugh Factory. I was terrified and it was awesome. I haven't done it in a long time, but I have done it. It was really fun.
But you know, vocally, you sound like the lady from The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Not Miss Maisel, but Alex. I think her name's Alex Bornstein. She was from Mad TV.
I love Alex.
But vocally, you sound so much like her. I was like, oh my gosh, she's just like, sounds like Alex Bornstein. And what a great comedian she is. You know, she's one of the greatest comedians.
One thing I learned about doing stand-up, and I was never nervous. I did 350 people for dinner. Oh yeah, 2 shows. Dinner show and drink show. And the 350 was a dinner show. Now, you could go out there and be frightened. And I used to say to myself before I left the curtain, Ron, these people came to see you. They paid to see you.
Right.
Now you owe them something. And when I thought that, I went out there. I was never afraid because I invited myself on the stage. If you invite yourself to the stage, you'll never be afraid of the stage. But if you think of the stage as a scary place, it's not going to work.
I'm writing that down. I'm going to invite myself to the stage from this moment forward.
Eileen, people pay to see you. You know, that's worth something, right?
Yes, I was very new, though, and so I did not have my confidence.
I like Karen. I like Eileen better.
Yes, my grandma called me Eileen or Leanie.
You look like an Eileen. You look like my friend Eileen Moskowitz. An old friend of mine from Brooklyn, Eileen Moskowitz.
So wait a second. Okay, I want to go back. I want to go back for a minute to Magic City because there's 2 other people I want to hear about. So I'm a huge. This is going to sound stupid, but one of my favorite stupid movies is called The Covenant, and it stars Stephen Strait. And Stephen Strait was in Magic City, and I was an extra in it. Is Stephen Strait was he cool? That was a set I couldn't get to meet him. I actually met.
This is going to sound ridiculous because everybody you're asking me, I'm like, yes, but Stephen Strait, hello, big love to Stephen Strait, so cool. He was he sort of embodied cool. Like when he was sitting in his chair between takes, I'd be looking at him and I'd be like, he's not acting, he's not doing a thing, and he just looks like the poster boy for cool. He was just he has that energy.
He's like a James Dean or something for his generation.
That's a very nice comparison in terms of the energy and stuff. I would agree with that. He was very a little quieter, where Jeffrey Dean was a little more big and boisterous. Stephen was a little quieter, but just so cool and very.
Okay, and then what about Danny Houston? Because Danny Houston, he had a great role on that Kevin Costner show, and he's been in a bunch of cool stuff too. Do you remember?
Amazing.
He's such a good actor.
Incredible actor, and what a lineage. His whole family. Wow.
Okay.
Tell me.
Here we go to the Yenta session.
Bring it on.
Okay.
You know what she said.
Who's the person in your life, he or she?
I didn't hear the question. Tell me.
You're married, you're single, you're ready?
Single and looking. Who do you know?
So you're ready.
No, we know
I'm
all kinds of
ready.
people.
I know all kinds of people.
Okay. I'm excited.
You never know. I could make a shidduch. You
I'm
know,
looking for my Bashert, and I'm thinking of hiring a matchmaker, but I'd much rather have you guys.
but you
Oh,
know
no,
what
we're better at
do you
it.
know what a shidduch is in Yiddish?
My grandmother used to talk to me in Yiddish, but
A
I don't
match.
remember. A
Shidduch
match.
is a match.
I'm writing it down. Shidduch.
You
Writing it
don't
down.
have-
Taking notes. Yeah,
you don't have to write it down.
I'm writing it down. I'm gonna remember it.
You'd be easy to sell. You're pretty and you're charming and you're funny and you're delightful. You'd be
Oh
easy
my
to sell.
God.
Very
I
easy.
believe it or not, viewers, I did not pay them to say any of this. Did not pay them. Yep.
Oh, yeah, we've never even met her before. As a matter of fact, we had another guest scheduled, and the other guest is on a set and couldn't work. And
Yeah.
so Matt Chasen, is he your manager or is just a friend?
He is my manager. He's my amazing
Well, her
manager.
manager called and said, I have a replacement. You're going to love her. She doesn't. Wait. She was in a movie called American Dreams. And
Yes.
anybody who didn't see it, Hugh Grant, Mandy Moore, Dennis Quaid, Jennifer Coolidge impersonations.
So that's what people think, but I have a friend who does Jennifer Coolidge, and
Oh, it's not you.
not me. She's the one on my outgoing voicemail who did that for me. So it's a
Oh.
friend who recorded it. Yes. Sadly, all I do is idolize Jennifer Coolidge. I
You did
idolize her.
two
But
movies with her, though, right? She was in two of the movies you were in, I think.
yes, yeah, we have crossed paths, and I actually met her in LA. She's amazing. I am dreaming about working with her again for sure. She's
Oh, she's cool.
yes.
We actually like her. Oh, so I thought you did impersonations. I think
I'm
I think
so
Matt,
sorry.
I-
So sorry.
I think Matt thinks that you do impersonations because I think in the email he said, make sure you ask her to do a Jennifer Coolidge impersonation.
Oh my God, that's what he said. Okay, so that's what he thinks. I'll have to correct him. I do a lot of like I speak French and Spanish. I do a lot of accents and dialects. And like a very limited number of impressions. I do.
Oh, I love
I
it.
wanted Jennifer to play the lead in my movie, but I
Oh.
found out she was not Jewish. So the fact that she was not Jewish, I really couldn't hire her because the character that plays my wife is Renee Taylor. If you know Renee Taylor, she's very Brooklyn Jewish, very, very, very.
Yeah.
Jewish people have offense to this. They think it's very old-fashioned and that Jewish people today are very sophisticated, very Jackie Kennedy, or very waspy. A lot of Jewish people don't like that ethnic Jewish of yesteryear. They want to lose that imagery of, "Ivy, what's doing, darling?" They don't want that because
That's my
that was
grandma.
But he wants that
But
for
that-
this movie because it
so-
takes place in
right.
1943.
So
Yeah.
because of woke or whatever the hell is going on in Hollywood, it was suggested to me that Jewish people would not like a guy imitating them in a movie.
Oh wow.
That's where we have gotten in film today. It's so political that it's disgusting. In order to produce a good movie, you got to go through all the politics. Who are you going to offend? Who's going to get upset? And it's nonsense because we write fantasy. None of it's real. This is fake, folks, and it's there to entertain you.
And it's called acting.
So stop dissecting it and making it a terrible job. Don't you agree? Now I'm gay, so I'm allowed to play all the gay parts.
Yeah.
But a straight guy is not allowed to play the gay parts. That's
Really?
stupid because if he's an actor, that's what it's called, acting. It's not real. I could
Yeah.
play King Lear. Am I King Lear? Do I have to be King Lear? Do I have to show papers that King Lear was my grandfather?
Wow.
So actually,
very
we're-
it's challenging. Yes.
Very,
It's-
very scary. That's
you
why.
can play a lot though. 'cause
No,
you've
but
got-
when the fact that she's Jewish entitles her to be in my film, which it does not entitle another actress who is not Jewish, and I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. The best person gets the part. Whoever does the most for the movie gets the part.
It's so interesting as an actor, as you already know. Like I'm in the voiceover world as well, and I had a conversation with a very lovely high level casting human in Los Angeles who said, that in the voiceover world, at least in her experience, now the trend is if you have a certain ethnicity in your lineage, they want you to submit. So, like, because I have Russian in my lineage, even though I don't speak Russian, they would feel okay with me doing a Russian accent to submit for a voiceover project. And I'm like, I find that so fascinating. And the flip side of that is, are there Russian actors or fill in the blank actors who haven't gotten the spotlight because they didn't have the visibility? So there's both camps. And I
Yeah.
can see both sides. You know, I was a debater in high school, so I like learned to like turn my head and go, is there anything true in there? Is there anything true in there? So I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what they're saying. I get both sides of it, actually.
Oh, listen, if you like
That's very interesting.
Wait, as a debater, there's this great movie that stars Kirk Cameron. It's really old.
Okay.
Kirk Cameron and Jamie Gertz, but I saw it. It was on Tubi last night called Listen to Me. You should watch it. It's a great, great, great movie. I love it. I've seen it like 50 times. And we've had two. We had the lady who does Bart Simpson and the lady who was Jim from Jim and the Holograms on the show as voiceover people.
Yes, why am I blanking on their names? I know them.
Oh, no, Mona somebody is Bart Simpson, I think. And Samantha Newark was Jim in the Holograms.
Okay, I can see their faces.
And,
you guys
so
have had
I think
some cool guests. How long have you been doing this?
16 years.
Sweet 16!
We didn't even have a name podcast. There was there wasn't a name podcast when we started. It was a radio show.
Oh,
Karen,
wow.
listen up, Karen.
Tell me everything, Ron.
You're ready for this?
I don't know. I'm sitting down.
Right now,
Not
darling.
right now, but over the time.
Over a period of time. You are now on the #1 podcast in
Web
the
show.
world. Number one.
We have 1.2 billion.
Emmy nominated.
Yes.
We're big stuff. We're not little crap.
We're like the biggest TV film podcast that there is. Like we're always
and wait a minute,
in 10
honey.
countries.
Wait. Hang on to your drawers.
I feel emotional. Now. This is
listen, Karen. We go out to 5 million people right now. 5 million people will see this show.
We're average. Yeah, if you'll get 5 million people, we'll see.
And we're not lying. Investigate.
Hello, everybody. That's a lot of people. Oh my God, it's
Listen,
So here's what we're gonna do, though. We're gonna give you.
You're bound to get work.
We're gonna give you some exposure because I took your drama demo reel off of YouTube.
You're
And we're gonna play it for everybody to see some of your drama. Even now, I should have found a comedy one because I think you're more fun than you are drama. But people will get an idea of what you've done. So you announce it, and then Juan's gonna play it. It's the one that says. Juan, it's the one that says Karen Eileen Gordon drama reel. Play it after she introduces it. Introduce it for us, and then you hang on until we come back.
Wow, I had no idea this was happening. By the way, this is my drama reel. I do have some comedy clips. I just put them up on IMDb, but you're right. It's all drama on YouTube. So this is a short reel with some of the stuff we've talked about, Magic City, The Glades, a show that I loved on Fox called Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, like based on the Terminator movies. So it's little snippets from all of those shows, and you'll see people you recognize, and it's some of my favorite stuff. So thank you for playing it. Goodness, gravy.
Take it away, Juan.
Christ. Does V know? You want to tell her?
There is a tin lining.
I only have seconds to live.
They're sending Joan.
Great. Joan who?
Kennedy. Teddy's new wife. Very cute, very blonde, very shiksa.
It's not Jackie, goddammit.
Danny Kaye wants Ike to install a full Chinese kitchen when he plays the Triton. Meshuggah.
Great. Is he inside?
Meeting downtown.
Damn it. He promised he'd talk to Dave Powers, Jack Kennedy's guy. He's in Atlantis right now. It's unbelievable.
Sorry, hon. Anything I can do?
No, it's okay. I'll handle it. Thanks.
Kevin's office. Did you do any preparation for that possibility?
Excuse me?
Did you ask your witness to answer the question?
Yes, I served him a beverage.
Wine, I believe.
I was trying to be polite.
Was it polite to secretly record a private conversation? John, come in. Riley's upstairs.
He's crazy.
What?
I said, he's crazy. You're all crazy.
Photos in your Facebook pages like it all matters. Like it's even real, but it's not. All of you are dead.
Honey, gonna...
I'm sorry.
Yay! It's Jay
Oh, I can't ignore you. Wait, you are. I didn't know that was you.
He's like, when? He's asking me, when are we going to see her? I'm like, that's her.
I cannot.
It's my favorite thing is when somebody sees my work and they're like, "Well, I didn't see you," and I'm like, "Oh, that means I did my job because you don't
Oh
recognize."
my God, you're terrific. You really are a master of disguise.
Thank you.
Master of disguise. You're good.
Very high praise. Thank you.
Yeah, Jimmy, we have to work with her. I want to work with her.
I want to work.
I'm going to put in for you. And not in a stupid horror movie either. I don't do them anymore. Well, I'm doing one now because my best friend Joe Kelly produced it, and I was in one of the other one. This is part 3, so I have to be in it for my friend's sake. But if it wasn't for Joe,
Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blue with Jack McGee, who's been on our show. Reese Witherspoon, Sally Field, Regina King, Bruce McGill, Luke Wilson, Jennifer Coolidge was in that one. And then here's some shows you guys might have seen her on TV. Bull, The Oath, Stark Naked, The Dark Cinema, Vegan 101. I don't know what that one is. Joan of Arcadia, Tremors, The Division, The Sarah Connor Chronicle, Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, No Ordinary Family, The Glades, Hannah Montana. That's hilarious. Ally McBeal, Strong Medicine, S Club 7. I mean, that is hilarious. I love S Club 7.
Yes.
She was also in a movie called The Perfect Husband, the Lacey Peterson story, and we've had Sarah Joy Brown on the show, and we know Dean Cain. So like some impressive, and she has a bunch of other stuff she was in. I just didn't put it on there because I just picked out the things I liked.
It's your show. You get to pick what you want.
Yes.
Yes.
Sooner or later, everybody comes on our show. You know, they all
I'm honored. I'm so glad my ticket came up. I'm so glad.
Oh, no, honey, you're an invited guest. Oh no, you are definitely.
Now that I know who you are, now you're more invited. I really like you.
You are an invited guest. There's no question about it.
Thank you.
I only wish you would do more work for what's going on today. If you would, I'm trying to encourage all my Jewish friends. Don't be chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote in Facebook today, I wrote, if all the things that are said about Jewish people were said about African American people, there would be riots in the street and people would go to jail. But how come it's okay to say anti-Semitic things to Jewish people and nobody goes to jail? It's un-American. And this is my fight right now. If you want diversity, you want equality, start it now in the streets. No one in America has the right to say anything harmful, hurtful, or cruel to another human being. That's not being an American. We are all immigrants. Every single one of us have come from a different country, somewhere in the world. And we all are equal. Get that through your thick, stupid heads. And no one has the right to say anything harmful to anyone else. And if the president would wake up and do something about it, we can put this all behind us and go forward and have a very prosperous, happy America. Boom.
All right. That's right. Yeah, it is heartbreaking across the board.
Mother and father work so hard for their money. They give you $100,000 to join Columbia. You go to Columbia, and how do you have the nerve to do such a thing? And who the hell are you anyway? You're not even Americans. You wear Arab robes. What are we, in the desert? I mean, you're in fucking New York.
So anyway, I don't want to stay on that topic. I want to switch.
I don't. No, that's what's wrong with America. Nobody wants to go on that topic now. Everybody's saying on Facebook, "Oh, don't write about it. People will get nasty." Yeah, let them get nasty with me. They'll regret it. They will be very unhappy if anybody gets nasty with me. Because
nobody gets nasty with you.
No, my mouth is from Brooklyn, and you can never beat a Brooklyn.
No, he's yeah,
you can't beat a Brooklyn mouth.
We have about. Yeah, we only have a few minutes left, and I want to get some.
But don't you agree, Karen? I don't like Karen. Don't you agree, Eileen?
You can call me Eileen. Absolutely, Karen Eileen, K-E Leanie. I've got so many lovely names.
Don't you agree that this has got to stop now?
My feeling is, and I'm with you, I have a hard time watching the news because I cry. I cry for everybody. Yep.
I remember, I don't remember, but I was around in the Second World War. And I remember my parents talking about what went on in Nazi Germany and Nazi Europe. It started in the colleges.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't know that.
Started in the colleges, and then
Just like it's doing now.
And then it spread to the street. And then they began smashing windows of Jewish stores because Jewish people, they didn't want to buy their bread or their jewelry or anything. And it just escalated. And we have to behave. There could be another Holocaust. We have to really understand this and say, now is the time to stop this. America used, in the 1950s, America was the best place to live. We didn't have war. We all got along, black, white, yellow, brown. I come from New York. New York is the melting pot. I went to school with every race you could think of. And you know what? I never knew what race they were. They were my friends.
Yeah, I was like that in school. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like I didn't pay attention to the skin color. They were just my friends. Yeah, they were just my friends.
We got to bring America back.
So real quick, you guys, I want to make sure. So you can follow Karen on Instagram. She's IAMKE Gordon is her Instagram. Her website is Karen. What do you call that? A hyphen?
Hyphen, yes.
Karen hyphen.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Stop, Paul. You said you graduated 6th.
Doesn't matter. I don't know the names of
you
things.
Graduated 6th in your class, and you don't know what a hyphen is.
So Karen,
immersed in the interview. He's immersed. Yep.
Karen-EileenGordon.com. So here's my question I like to ask all the actors. And number one, bucket list, male and female actor you haven't worked with. If you could work with any male and female actor, and you can't say Meryl Streep because he said you're better than her, so you got to pick somebody else. And then the second part of that is if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made ever in history, and the actor and actress can be living or dead. What movie would you have wanted to be in? And the actress can be living or dead. It doesn't have to be somebody who's alive.
Holy cow! These are some really good questions. So, the movie that I would have wanted to be in, there's so many on my list, but I have to tell you, the first thing that comes into my mind is I would have wanted to be a character in a Harry Potter movie.
Me too. That's good. That's good. In a Harry Potter movie.
Where is my wand? I have a wand here in the room with me, but I have Professor McGonagall's wand, but it's hiding. So yeah, it would be have been amazing.
I collect action figures, and I also have the figures of everybody who's been on our show. But I have maybe like 4,000 action figures.
Yeah,
I have everything.
I go beyond that.
And
if I were in a Harry Potter movie, I would only want to work opposite Maggie Smith.
Isn't she?
I would love to work with Maggie Smith.
Oh.
I adore her. I adore Maggie Smith. She's probably one of the greatest actresses of our era.
Yeah, I like her too. Okay, so now male and female actor that you would like, but that you haven't worked with yet.
Okay. I have to give you 3 of the actresses because I can't choose between them. Okay, so they, in no particular order, Helen Mirren.
Yeah, good pick.
Good pick. Good.
Cate Blanchett.
Another good pick.
Who?
Cate Blanchett.
Oh my God, yes.
And Jennifer Coolidge. A shout out to my girl.
You picked 3 of the best.
Yeah, you picked 3
of the
phenomenal ones.
3 of the best. I agree with all 3.
Okay, what about the men?
Oh, it's too hard to pick. There's so many. I know I've already worked with him, but it was so amazing. I would love to work with Jeffrey Dean Morgan again. He's incredible. I would love to work with Javier Bardem.
Oh, good one.
Good choice.
Nobody's ever picked him, by the way. Nobody's ever picked him. That's the first time, but he's a great actor.
Javier. Those would be my top 2. There's a giant pool of them. They're all tied for first, but those are my top 2. And I'd like to obviously work with Mr. Spielberg. That's a bucket list.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember, living. Yes. They could be living or dead.
Oh, living or dead. Oh, I forgot. Oh my God. Well, then of course James Dean.
There you go. I like James Dean. I love James Dean.
Living or
Gary
dead.
Cooper's my pick. I like Gary Cooper.
Humphrey Bogart.
Let's go one more.
You know something? James Dean would have been very difficult to act with because James Dean ate up the scenery, and we know that.
He was the powerhouse. Yeah.
He was so big on the screen that there was room for no one else. So playing with James Dean would not necessarily be a very good, excuse me, career move.
I understand.
I like Cary Grant too.
But
So
I still would have wanted the experience. I would have wanted
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. So what about this then? Let's say you're going to be.
I would only like to play the Cary Grant life story, and I would like to play Randolph Scott, who
Since they
was
had
his
an
lover
affair.
for 10 years.
Wow.
Cary Grant's lover for 10 years. That would mean that I'd have to make out with Cary Grant on the screen.
You poor thing. I'm so sorry.
So if you were going to make a movie and they said, okay, and you're the star because you're like the biggest star on the planet, and they said, who do you want to play your love interest? Who do you pick?
You're gonna need to give me a minute for that one. I'm gonna get back. I'll post that in the comments. I'm gonna marinate on that one.
I've never asked that one before too, but something about you just made me think like we should ask.
I adore you. I'm gonna feast on that idea for a couple of days. I will post it. I will post it. That's gorgeous.
You
That's
know
gonna
who you
inform my
remind me of?
dreams.
You remind me of Meg Tillis. That's who it is.
Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly.
Yeah, the comedian.
Oh.
Meg Tilly, is it?
She's not a comedian.
They're two sisters. Meg Tiller has a sister. But I'm talking about Meg Tiller, the one with the big jugs.
The one from
she's got huge tits.
The one from Chucky.
Meg Tiller. Tillis, you know.
It's Tilly, Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly.
Meg
That's
Tilly.
it. You remind me of Meg Tilly.
She's in Chucky.
You know who Meg Tilly is?
She was also
She's
in
been around for a while.
a long time. I have to look her up.
Tilly.
All right.
Oh my God! You don't know her. You sound like her. in
She was,
movie.
she was in The Big Chill, but you might not even be old enough for when that movie came out. This is the one you're talking about, right?
No, I'm talking about the.
No, there's
comedian.
somebody else. He's thinking of somebody else, but I don't know the comedian you're referencing. I'll have to look it up.
Meg,
Look her up.
her name is Meg Tillis.
Meg Tillis. Okay.
I don't know who that is.
T-I-L-L-I-S.
Big
There's
love.
a
I'm
Meg-
gonna look you up
Meg
right now.
Tilly.
Mhm.
She talks just like you do. Speaks exactly like you.
I think it's Meg
Wow.
Tilly.
No, she has a sister.
She does have Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer and Meg Tilly.
Meg
The
Tilly.
Yeah, Meg Tilly. That
That's
was her.
that was her. Yeah,
Okay.
that's her now.
Well,
Okay.
that didn't look.
Okay. Anyway, it's a good one. She was in The Big Chill, and she's in Chucky.
And it's a compliment because she's one of my.
Meg and
favorite-
Jennifer Tilly. We're getting help in the chat. Meg and
Yes.
Jennifer Tilly.
That's actually our next guest,
Thank you,
James
chat.
Dumont. We wrote Meg and Jennifer
you,
Tilly.
James. Thank you for
James,
helping.
for bringing you on in 1 second.
Yeah.
How cool! That's so much fun.
So much fun. Yeah.
You are a treat, my dear, and a great surprise because we didn't know what we were getting.
It was a
We have-
mystery box today. You had no idea.
I'm so happy that you came in, though. I want to thank Michael Colombe, who was
Yes.
our originally scheduled guest, who
You
had
have
to
good
cancel.
taste.
He'll be coming back.
Hey, Michael. Yeah.
He'll be coming back, and we want to thank Matt Chasen, who's a really good friend of mine, for recommending you and saying and filling in with you.
Good taste. Good
Please
taste.
send me your info on Instagram, and we'll
Yeah.
definitely stay in touch for some stuff.
I will.
What
a
fabulous.
pleasure.
Wait a minute. And if you think we're full of baloney about this, listen up. Years and years and years ago, Eileen Shapiro came on our show as a guest. I
Okay.
fell madly in love with her. We became friends, and today she's Jimmy's partner in their PR firm.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
yeah.
That's right.
We met her
So
on the show when we opened up a PR firm, and now we're like
Eileen was a
and-
guest on our show. We had never met her, and the two of us fell in enchantment with each other, and we picked up, and now we're the best of friends. We're like family.
I believe you. I don't know why I believe you, but I just believe both of you. I do. I believe you.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't make people's hopes get up.
I know.
I would never
I'm
make
producing
your
a lot
hopes.
of movies. You can look on my
No,
IMDb.
I would never.
I'm
I would never.
going to Google the heck out of both of you.
I would never make your hopes go up. But I'll tell you something else.
You're fabulous.
Now listen to me.
You are fabulous.
My
I'm
movie-
listening. Hold on. I'm listening. Yes.
End of my movie, my wife says to me, Franco, I hear there's a lot of Nazis in Hollywood. What do you say we go to Hollywood? And that's the next movie goes to Hollywood. And you, my darling, will be in that movie. I give you my word.
Crying.
It'll be fun.
You will be a character, a good character too. I like your persona.
I love it.
I don't want to lose
I
your
like
persona.
yours too, both of you. I'm
Well,
sorry
those
I
are-
have to say goodbye.
We'll,
to
we'll
be
see you
continued.
again very
Oh, we'll
soon.
see you.
And if you
To
got
be
anything,
continued.
if you have anything big coming up, we'll bring you back. We bring people back all the
Okay.
time. So if you got something that's coming out and and you want to promote it and have lots of people see it,
I
just
do.
come.
I can't talk about it yet, but I will definitely let
When
you
you
know. Yeah,
can, you let me
yeah.
know, and we'll come back and we'll do it all over again.
I'm excited. Round
Yay!
2. Woo!
All right,
I
thank
will
you.
Hope to
All right,
meet you
lovely
one day.
humans.
Yes, we'll see you in
you
Florida.
soon. Bye. Thank you so much,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
What a great guest.
Yeah, she's
She's
terrific.
fabulous.
She's got some personality. I asked her. you like it?
Absolutely. All right, you guys. So we're gonna take a 1 minute,
Astro liked
2 minute
it, too.
music break real quick. Let's play Baker Grace's Painkiller one, and then we're gonna come back with James Dumont. Everybody who's in the green room.
Come a little closer. Don't be shy. If you're over being sober, I got something you might like. Come on, let your guard down. Every step you didn't take, 'cause that's you where you are now. Let me make it worth the wait. The promise of more is a powerful force that's consuming the peace in your mind. It's not a secret, you don't have to keep it inside. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller with no catch. You light it up, I'll be the match. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, free your mind. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, and send me like fine red wine. Can make you feel I'm the only thing you know is real. You say climb me when there ain't no top. Can't come down when the clothes are off. All the limos and lights leading to lonely nights. In the mornings you're fading gray. It's not a secret, you don't have to hide it away. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller with no catch. You light it up, I'll be the match. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, free your mind. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, and send me like fine red wine. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. Come a little closer. And kiss me, I'm a painkiller with no catch. You light it up, I'll be the match. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, free your mind. Kiss me, I'm a painkiller, and send me like fine red wine.
Yay! That was Baker Grace Painkiller. Now we're going to bring on our next guest. Let's bring him in, Juan. Let's make sure we can hear him.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Cool. All right, let me do an introduction. Then everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor extraordinaire, and actually producer, actor, self-tape specialist, it says on here. James Dumont, hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let me introduce you to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Ron Russell, and this is one of our dogs, Astro.
Hi,
What's
Jimmy.
up, Russell? What's up? What's up, Ron? What's up, Astra?
Of course, is it okay to call you Jimmy?
Jimmy's great. That's all my old school growing up friends call me Jimmy.
James sounds so.
It sounds. You know, my sisters were the ones that kind of switched it up in high school, but I was.
Meanwhile, wait, Jimmy, quiet. Where are you? That is a gorgeous room.
Thank you. It's called virtual background.
I knew it was a virtual background, and here's how I knew.
Look at my brown teeth, like yeah.
We had another guest. We had another guest on. That's the same That's the same background Harvey Brownstone had when he was on like a year ago. But I just remember.
And I was going to say, you're so lucky.
No relation to Harvey, the other Harvey we don't talk about. So yes.
Yes.
I was going to say, I wish I had a room that big.
So we have a bunch of people in the chat room. Please say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Why, hello, everybody.
And I want to, so you've done so many cool things. I actually, when I initially invited you on and then we got hooked up with your publicist, I didn't really, I knew all the huge because you've been in so many A-list things, but one thing I didn't know you were in until I started doing a little research yesterday is that you were the narrator for The Simple Life, which is my favorite reality show that I've ever seen ever in my life. So just speak on it for 2 seconds and just tell us something. You guys, in case you didn't know, that's the Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie show that had a couple of seasons.
It was like
many years ago.
And what they loved was I had like such a they wanted like a New York smartass, you know, to kind of like, yeah, these two skanks. Here's the problem with these broads. Is blah 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 blah. And I was just like, so let me get this straight. So it's a reality show about them, but you want me to make fun of them? And I was just like, it's a chance, it's a risk, I'll take it. But they loved it. So the more it was like tongue in cheek, like, well, look at this, look what she's doing here. It's like, I wonder how many songs Lionel had to sing to get that thing in her, into her yard. It's like, so, it's like, how many shitty hotel rooms do you have to stay? Like, I didn't really go that far in terms of language, but I'm like, how many crappy hotel rooms did they had to like, did they skimp on in order for her to be able to buy those shoes, So yeah, it was just one of those, like, the fun part was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to make fun of the two women, but they like everybody, they ate it up. So it was like, I ended up doing like a couple and then they're like, oh no, we want them like through the whole season. So it was like,
so much fun.
Little spec thing. And then it just turned into something bigger, which was a lot of fun.
I love that show.
But you're not from New York.
My family is. I'm from Chicago and New York. So my great uncle was Alan B. Dumont, who started the Dumont Television Network, which I think is before your time.
You're kidding.
Not before his time.
So the Cavalcade of Stars, the Show of Shows, a little thing called the Jackie Gleason Show with this little sketch about some bus driver named Ralph Cramden and his friend, Norton.
Dumont was Channel 5 in New York.
That's correct. Oh, you're okay. You're older than you look.
Network. Oh, I know Dumont well.
He'll be 84 this month.
That's my mom's age. So you and my mom are the same age.
I probably dated her.
Maybe. He was in Chicago mostly, so you're probably not. Wait, you could be my DNA. Wait,
you're my son.
It could happen. So I grew up in New York and Chicago, both places, growing up.
Well, that's a hell of a family tree. Dumont TV. Wow, because I love Dumont TV. You know why? They had Pat Michael's Magic Cottage on Dumont, and I love that show. I used to watch it every afternoon.
Yeah,
remember
Captain Video, Show of Shows,
I love Captain Video. Oh my God, you're killing me.
Yeah,
Captain Video, I loved him.
And Ellery Queen was the other one, like that they did the Ellery Queen, like a radio play into television. I'm doing a biopic on him because he's a really amazing guy. He had polio as a kid, so he had to stay home most of the time, and he learned how to build radios. And he was a great scientist, but also he was really a pioneer in what now we call narrowcasting in terms of broadcasting. Is like he would the first African-American woman who had her own cooking show was on the Dumont Television Network. So before anybody.
The greatest show they ever put on Dumont Afternoon Kids was the 1934 Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon series.
That's his favorite.
Every day I glued myself to that TV to see what happened to Flash and Dr. Zarkov. And
Flash Gordon is his favorite.
And Emperor Ming.
We had Sam Jones on the show. We didn't get we can't have Buster
Crabbe. I'm not lying to you. I probably was one of the biggest Dumont fans of all time. That was my network.
Wow.
Channel 5. Channel 5, Dumont, I lived with it. I
Yeah.
watched every single thing. Dumont Television was probably one of the best networks that we had. We only had 2, 4, 7, 5, 11, and that was it in New York City.
Yep.
And Dumont, you had Jackie Gleason, Dumont.
Yeah, we did, because the Jackie Gleason show they were doing sketches, and one of them was about a bartender, and then another one he did was this this bus driver called Ralph Cramden, which became the Honeymooners. So, and then of course, you know, like then CBS started coming, and Bill Paley was like, "Yeah, why don't you come over here? You know, join us."
No, Dumont was quite a network.
Yeah, so that's my lineage. That's where I come from.
I'm so happy to know you because you made me happy. You
Good.
brought back some beautiful memories. But the best was Flash Gordon serial, and I couldn't wait till the next day. I ran home from school and ran in front. What's Flash doing now? Because I really think I'm neurotic and insane, and I thought I really think I'm Flash
I would
Gordon.
expect nothing less.
Yeah. Being in the business for 64
I was
years.
about to say, being in the business all this time, you better be both. Otherwise,
So,
you can't stick
I
around.
really do think I'm Flash Gordon.
So I'm going to do some bragging, you guys, for James. Before we talk about any of his movies, here's some of the TV shows, and I picked out just the ones that everybody will know, which there's a fucking zillion of them. But so here's some of the stuff you will have seen James Dumont on television. FBI, Claws, Stranger Things, Law & Order, True Crime, Magnum P.I., Blue Bloods, Mad Men, Nashville, American Horror Story, Zoo, NCIS New Orleans, The George Carlin Show, Law & Order, Can't Hurry Love, New York, NYPD Blue, General Hospital, Ghost Whisperer, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Home Improvement, Arliss, The West Wing, Becker, Titus. Titus was on our show. Cold Case, CSI, ER, Joan of Arcadia, House, Numbers, Desperate Housewives, Breakout Kings, one of my favorites. Harry's Law, Hung, that was a good one too. Grey's Anatomy, Men of a Certain Age, Ugly Betty, and Bones. And then there's a million more, but I just picked out the ones everybody knows for sure.
James, correct me if I'm wrong. Superman, was on Dumont.
I don't think so.
George Reeves and Superman.
I think George Reeves was on another network. I don't think he was
Dumont.
I don't think he was on Dumont. I don't think the early.
I used to watch that show too.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
Now, did you have the Mickey Mouse show on Dumont?
That was later.
No. Later.
Okay, so wait, now we're going to keep going. So you guys, here's some of the major things that everybody will know him from. First of all, he's on The Righteous Gemstones, which I'm actually, Jay LaRose, I didn't even know he was on that. He's a good friend of mine, and we've had Eric.
Boy, I just talked to Jay last week. We're starting our 4th season at the end of May, so we'll. I'll be seeing him in less than a month in Charleston.
Say hello to him. He's a really cool guy. So you got in The Righteous Gemstones with John Goodman, Danny McBride, Adam Devine, Kristen Johnson, Steve Zahn, Jennifer Nettles. I don't know. There's a million people on it. He was in Deepwater Horizon, The Peacemaker, Catch Me If You Can, SWAT, Along Came Polly, Trumbo, great movie, Miss Congeniality 2, War of the Worlds, Ocean's 13, Universal Soldier, Dallas Buyers Club, and actually Spencer Confidential, Jurassic World, and Spencer Confidential, by the way, which I didn't know that was you. Like, you don't look the same in every movie. So, like, in Spencer Confidential, when I saw that you were in it, I didn't know, though, that you were actually in it. We have a clip from it that we're going to play in a little bit just to show. Awesome. I took it off of your YouTube. So how
smart was Grandpa to say this new thing, this little round 5-inch tube, people are going to watch it? Well, I'm going to create a network, call it Dumont. How smart was he to do that?
Well, the cool thing about Alan was he was my great uncle, and the deal with him was that he was a scientist, but he was also creative, and he also gave people opportunities that would normally not get opportunities. So that's why I'm kind of working on a biopic of him, because he's kind of like, like the movie Tucker. Like people don't know much about like his background, but he was the first television network. It had his own name on it. And what was interesting about him is because he had polio, one of his arms was handicapped. So when people came back after World War II, he created an assembly line for people that were the veterans that were amputees, in order for them to still be able to have a job where other people weren't hiring them or employing them.
I would certainly do a large story on him.
He is.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing is, like I said, the first African American woman who had her own TV show had a cooking show in the morning, and then there was actually an Asian American woman who had her own cooking show as well. So and then there were people who were blacklisted, who were not allowed to be in the theater, and so he would cull through and watch things in other places, and he put blacklisted actors back on television. It was the way in which that they stayed in the business. So he really was an innovator and a pioneer. And also I think, there's a recent article about him a little while back. One of the reviewers from the reporters from the Hollywood Reporter was talking about, there's broadcasting where there's content for everyone. And then there's narrowcasting, like this content is for a very specific type of audience. And he basically said that the early days of television is that he was able to identify and find a very specific show for a very specific audience. And so that also kind of led to his demise in a way. It's like everybody else wanted broadcast, but in terms of something for everyone, it should appeal to everyone, as opposed to, well, what if people really like this show and they want to do this? So now we're in a time where we can kind of pick and choose the kind of content that we want. Whereas, even like the old days of, I was a DJ before, and, you'd buy an album and then there'd be like 1 or 2 songs on the album, but then you get stuck with all these other shitty songs that you hit and you're like, that's not fair. So the same thing is happening now with content. I think people really are now able to kind of pick and choose what they want when they want it, and they can get it at any time. They can put it on their phones, but know that the early days and the pioneering was to kind of identify, who is the right show for what particular audience, as opposed to having to be something for everybody or having to appease or please everyone. I think there was something to be said for, this content works for this particular type of audience. And it's funny how that's how it was in the beginning. And now here we are in what was, another pioneer of another pioneering of television. It's coming back around again. It's cyclical nature.
Was he a French immigrant?
No, he was. Ours were French and Swedish. The name comes from France. My great grandparents are of French ancestry, and then also Swedish as well.
Yeah.
So
I would really like to see this film, and I encourage you to.
I'm working on it.
Yes.
And I happen to look like him at this particular age, so it's kind of like a little.
I don't know what he looks like, but
you can do a Google search and you'll find that we got the same hairline.
The Dumont Network was up against some very heavy artillery. Correct. Channel 4 and Channel 2.
Channel 2 was CBS, and that's Bill Paley. Like
they were the chosen stations.
Yeah, he grabbed Jackie Gleason and brought him over to his network.
I know all about your network. Then suddenly, years later, Dumont went off the air. We never knew what happened. Boom, Dumont was gone. What happened, Jim?
Paramount Pictures saw the opportunity there and stacked up their board, and then absolved the company to kind of turn it into what became multimedia, called Metro Media, which became like the UHF channel. So when you were in other cities and you had the major networks and there was an off thing, they became Metro Media, which to this day I think still Metro Media in some form exists. But yeah, it's still. Paramount Studios, and ironically, I played the character of Barney Balaban, who was a president of Paramount Studios in an episode of Timeless. And it turns out that Barney Balaban had a lot to do with my family, the network being absolved by Paramount Pictures. So it's very interesting to kind of play a character that was an integral part of your family's demise in terms of the history of entertainment. So I just thought that was a nice little fun circle.
Jim, will you be playing your grandfather?
Oh, of course. Yeah, 100%.
When do you think you're going into production? Are you anywhere?
Oh, I'm way far away. We're in the research stage. We're in the storyline stage. My uncle is a guy named Bruce Dumont out of Chicago, who is the head of the Museum of Broadcasting, and he's been kind of the keeping it all together and alive in the terms of the history of the family. So I'm constantly picking his brain and all these different kind of stories that I told you today. I'm working on those, so it'll take a while. But I'm working on it.
I want to finish. When this movie is completed,
Yes,
please come back on our show.
Of course.
And tell us about it and how we could go about seeing it. I really want to see this movie. I swear to God, I'm not lying. Because Dumont, to me, was a lifeline, if you can believe that, in the 1950s.
I believe it.
It was my lifeline. It took me out of my crappy world I lived in.
That's right.
And Dumont,
kids would run home from school to catch it in time.
Dumont was my religion.
All right,
Love
so
it.
then I want to go move on to you a little bit.
Jimmy's
So-
like, let's stop talking about his history and let's talk about James.
No,
Go ahead,
I
Jimmy.
like it all. Actually, we like
Talk
all of
about
it.
what?
I
All
want
right,
to
it's
talk
all
about.
good.
So first of all, are you a really big guy?
No.
Like in all the movies, you look really big, but like, is that just
Yeah, I'm
because-
like 5'9". I'm a little over your average male
You're
height.
not big at all, then. That's not big.
No,
no, like
just a regular guy.
because he plays these intimidating ass people in like a lot of movies. Like
I
he's
do.
like huge. It's like Stephen. What's his name? Stephen Lang. You know, we met Stephen Lang, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's huge. You know,
I love
and he's
him.
like 5'4" or something.
Yeah, but he's 5'4", but like Stephen Lang is tight, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
ripped.
That guy's he's ripped. He's in the
Yeah,
gym all the
but-
time.
Wait, Stephen Lang is little. His shoulders are narrow. His
Right.
hands are like a girl's. His
But
whole
he'll crush
body-
your hand if he shakes you. If you shake.
Oh,
him.
yeah, I know, he did.
He's
Yeah, don't
shrunken.
let him fool you. He'll crush your head like a grape.
Great.
I know. I danced a slow one with him. How do you like that? In
Nice.
the interview, Stephen said, "Come on, Ron, let's dance." And he gets me up and we're dancing. And I felt like I was dancing with a little woman. And here on screen, my God, he's this muscle-bound killer.
right.
So, film is all illusion. We know
I
that.
love it.
So right now I look 84. But in person, I'm really 19.
There it is.
So how long? What made you decide? Did the fact that your family had a TV station, did that impact you on the fact that you wanted to be an actor, or what decided to become an actor?
I think the thing is, when I was a kid, Sesame Street just had come on the air, and I remember watching it, and I was like, there's these kids that are on TV, they're in this little box and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I totally want to do that. And also, my mom was like, studied at the Art Institute of Chicago for interior design, and she was super kind of creative. And one of the things is there was this contest for the Gerber babies. They wanted you, if you submitted a photograph and you got picked to be the Gerber baby, you would be on the Gerber baby. So in 1966, I was selected as the Gerber baby of 1966. So I was on the little Gerber bottles. So that was like the first thing. And then when I was younger, I remember watching the early days of Sesame Street and going, like, I want to do that. Like, I want to do what these kids are doing. Like my life, like same thing, like you were saying, Ron. It's like, my life is terrible. My parents are going through this awful divorce. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to be with these kids and hang out on Sesame Street, and I want to be on TV. So it's like the early days of like seeing that. And my mom said when I came out, like when I was born, that I had this smile, and I've always had a quick smile almost in every project I've done. I've done like 170 movies and TV shows now. And it's like, if you look at all my characters, there's almost this signature little quick smile that pops up. My mom said I had this kind of like smile from the time I came out, like out of the womb, you know? And so for me, I've always kind of kept that, just that kind of lighter childlike, you know, wonderment and excitement about doing things, as, you know, no matter what happens.
Jim, what was your grandfather like as a grandfather? Not Mr. Dumont, but as your grandfather.
No, it was his great uncle, I think. Didn't you say it was
No,
your
it's
my great uncle. Yeah, great uncle. Yeah,
Oh,
it's it was my grandfather's brother. There were three brothers. Three Dumont brothers, and so my grandfather was Don, but my other uncle was, my great uncle was Bruce Dumont, who was a football player for Rutgers, and then the other one was Bruce, who was Alan Dumont, Alan B. Dumont, and he was with studied at Rensselaer, so he was the scientist. So there were three brothers that were, you know, part of that. They're all Brooklyn boys. They all grew up in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn,
yeah. Brooklyn in the house.
Yes.
So yeah, those are three Brooklyn boys, and then my grandfather moved to Chicago, and I was born in Chicago. So my father was born in New London, Connecticut. So that's where, you know, so the Dumonts have always been East Coast for like a long time. Even my kids now, my kids are older. One's in Vermont at school. The other one's working at Dartmouth in New Hampshire. So ironically, the Dumonts are all back on the East Coast, and I live in New Orleans now. So we're all kind of more East Coast centric than the West Coast.
So you will put the Dumont legacy on film. Yes,
That's
I like
the plan.
I love it.
I like that idea a lot.
I do too. So I'm going to
because early television. My brother-in-law was a documentary movie producer, and my brother-in-law had a lens that came from a very early 1932 television. Imagine they had television in 32, and he called it Ceratno. What did he call it? Some name. If you put it in front of a projection, it blew the screen up bigger than Cinerama. And he called it Supervision, Evan J. Anton's Supervision. And he couldn't get it off the ground. Nobody wanted it. And my father was in on it because my father he was sort of an inventor also. And they had this wonderful process. And I'm wondering now, whatever happened to Supervision?
Mm-hmm. I know that there was a thing called the oscillating lens, which was this lens that kind of came from two different sources, and then when they were separated out, they could then be set up from there. Yeah. So I know that vision came from the oscillating lens. Was this thing you could push stuff through it, and then it could kind of project it out, which they used for early days of the movie theaters and other things in order to kind of
my brother-in-law's lens was as big as Cinerama. The only problem was the edges got weird. They got all sort of fuzzy and blue, and they couldn't get rid of the edging, but it did open up the screen tremendously.
So hang on, I want to keep going here. All right.
Well, that was important. That was intelligent.
So first of all,
we're bragging.
I know, I want to brag.
Yeah, but that was intelligent. Every now and then you got to be intelligent.
I know, now I want to brag because I want to. So first of all, you guys, some of the people that James has worked on the screen with, Mark Wahlberg, Kurt Russell, George Clooney, Nicole Kidman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, Amy Adams, Samuel Jackson, Colin Farrell, Jeremy Renner, Michelle Rodriguez. There's so many of them. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Sandra Bullock, Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, Brad Pitt, Al Pacino, Elliot Gould, Matt Damon. Basically, you've been in every Matthew McConaughey, every of the biggest movies of the last 25 years. You're in like a lot of them. A lot of them are like Academy Award, at least nominated films. Do you have one film that like is one of the ones that you like enjoyed like a lot?
Yeah, I think the thing for us was Dallas Buyers Club. That was kind of one of those like sleeper things that we hoped that it would turn into what it is, but became so much more than we ever imagined. Because at a certain point, I was flown down to New Orleans. We were days away from shooting, and the weekend before we were about to shoot, we lost all our foreign financing.
Oh,
and
wow.
At that point in time, Matthew McConaughey had a doctor on hand 24/7 because he had lost so much weight. And there was also a doctor advising on Jared because the earlier scenes of them having AIDS were going to be the first thing they were going to shoot, and then he was going to start to add weight as they went along. But both men had gone through such tremendous amount of physical sacrifice, particularly Matthew, who was really had lost a lot of weight in order to kind of make the movie this believable. So we had lost our foreign financing, and a pioneer in the film industry, a guy named Cassian Elwes, who was like the king of independent film and was an agent back at William Morris, was our producer. And he turned to a French screenwriter that he had 20 years ago had turned that guy's life around and said, I need for you to wire $7 million into our bank in the next 48 hours in order for this film to happen.
Give me this guy's name and address.
Yeah, exactly. And so he said, I'm calling in a 20-year marker because you were a kid, you were a French kid struggling to try to get your screenwriting going. Now you own this foreign company that's going to distribute us film. The guy's like, so let me get this straight. I'm going to wire you $7 million for an AIDS drama with Matthew McConaughey, who's known as a romantic comedy actor, and this guy Jared Leto, who's really kind of an international rock star. And you think I'm going to get my money back, right? Well, that investment he got ×5, and then just sold his company for $2.3 billion as of recently. So that movie almost didn't get made. I sat in a hotel room for a week. Finally, the last few days of my week that they bought my contract, I was finally able to go shoot. But that movie almost didn't get made. And 20 years ago, that script was kicking around and Brad Pitt was attached to it. So for that project to go from losing all its financing to walking away, and Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto single-handedly won every single award for actor and supporting actor that year. Golden Globe, Oscar, the Hollywood Foreign Press. I mean, they run everything they possibly could get. New York Times, Film Critics Association. So for us to kind of have that, and then for me, I think that was like my 50th movie at that point. I'd been kind of just an everyman kind of character guy, just working off and just going from project to project to project. But no one really kind of recognized it. And I was kind of hoping that I thought I'd have a little breakout thing in SWAT, because I'm working opposite Colin Farrell in like a dozen scenes and working with Sam Jackson. But that movie that was like a box office thing, but not critical success, not an industry film. But when Dallas Buyers Club came out, like everybody in the industry saw Dallas Buyers.
Yes. Let me in. That was because the subject matter was AIDS. And back then, the press or the media made AIDS a gay disease, not an everybody disease. So, of course, all the homophobes, and there are many, said, I'm not going to go see a movie about a bunch of fags dying from some cancer. And that was the consensus. President Reagan would not discuss AIDS. No one would discuss AIDS.
When was this?
Excuse me, I'm speaking intelligently for a change instead of stupid. Nobody would use the word AIDS. Here these people come along with a movie that's going to only be about homosexuals and AIDS. The reason it was a hit, because I believe the PR on it was what did it. I think word of mouth did it. I remember everybody, the gay community definitely wanted to see it. We didn't like it because we don't always like to be shown as dead people.
No, you're not thinking of the same movie.
Yes, I am.
You are?
Of course I am. I was there. What are you talking about?
You're talking about. You're not talking about.
I'm
Dallas
not talking
Buyers Club.
about Philadelphia.
No, I know Dallas Buyers Club. It came out like what? What year did that come out?
I'm not talking about Dallas House.
That's the one Dallas Buyers Club is the one he's in that won all the Academy Awards that we're talking about. We're not talking. You're talking about the other one that came out in the 80s. What year did this come out, James?
What movie are we talking about?
Dallas Buyers Club.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. It came out 10 years ago.
That wasn't about gay people?
It was about gay people and AIDS, but it was like the one.
So what are you talking about?
But you weren't there. You're talking about the one that happened. This is a modern day story.
Was alive.
Oh yes, you were alive.
There,
okay.
I was alive. I was there. I was in the moment when that movie came out. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Okay, and I remember the gay community kept saying, "One more time, Mary, that we have to be punished for being gay and be killed. We don't like it." We didn't like any of the horror movies where it was always a drag queen that got killed because the drag queen was some insane bitch. All right. We were resenting what was being done to gay people. So that movie was an instrument of politics as well as a film that was worth seeing. And that's why that film got what it got, because America got tired of the same old prejudice crap. And Hollywood came to the aid of gay people. And Hollywood said, let's make this film happen to show the world what it's all about. And that's why that film, to me, is a very important film, as is Philadelphia. There's all those movies that brought forth.
Exactly.
Yeah, Harvey Milk.
Harvey Milk is my dear friend.
Was.
No, he still is.
Well,
Harvey Milk, the nephew.
Yes.
He's my dear friend. I work with them all the time in San Francisco. Harvey and I are like that. And Harvey will
So
tell.
your point is well taken, but I think one of the things that was I think that one of the things that really resonated with people, in particular, what I think I just had that was an incredible experience where Jared and I, the scene between the father and the son, and he's begging for money because he's dying of AIDS, and Jared felt like that scene was the thing that got him the Oscar, that put him over the top. There's that one scene where he's in the mirror, but the father and son together is like this, super heartbreaking scene. And one of the things that's interesting about my experience with that was when the premiere came out and I was on the red carpet, I got halfway through the carpet and the rest of the press, mostly gay press, LGBTQ community press, did not want to speak to me at all. Because they didn't really know the difference between the character and the actor. And I represented parents who have abandoned their children when they came out. And so there I was, the face of that thing. And I got halfway down the carpet, and then Jennifer Garner came up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, your scene is my favorite scene in the entire movie. It's the most heartbreaking. Your work is incredible. You're an amazing actor. I want to know who you are." And blah, blah. This is halfway down the carpet. And then the minute that Jennifer Garner was just like, "Oh my God, that scene is just so incredible. That's the best scene in the movie," and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I go down the rest and everybody wants to talk to me again. And I'm like, "Hey, by the way, I have a lot of gay family members, and like, this is a character, this is a character. But because I'm the face of, and I have to represent, as you pointed out, sometimes I'm playing these very reprehensible human beings, but it's my job to be truthful to who they were and who they are."
Yes, exactly.
You're an actor. But you're an actor.
Some people, but you just pointed out, Ron, you're right. But some people have prejudice in there that they can't separate the storyline from what it is. And the reality is that
I shouldn't be involved with the program, because I was in an apartment in Manhattan, maybe the 25th floor, at a little cocktail party, and this boy, his name was Little Johnny, had just been thrown out of his house, and he was staying with this gay friend of mine in his apartment. And suddenly Johnny ran and jumped out of the window of that 34th story building. To this day, I have never seen such a horror in my life or experienced anything about it. And it was because his parents didn't want him anymore. So this is what we gay people had to fight. We had to fight the family, the world, society, and decency. Because as far as the world was concerned, homosexuals are nothing but faggots who rape children and blow everybody in subway bathrooms. We are trash. We are garbage to these stupid people. They don't realize that some of the greatest people in the world are gay. Some of the shakers and some of the movers and some of the people who have brought beauty, ballet, art, music to the world were gay. And this is the point that I fight to date.
Everybody should watch the movie again.
Everyone should watch this movie again. It was absolutely a landmark.
Yes, please do. And pay-per-view it.
Yes, pay-per-view it, yes. So wait.
I got one still in college. Please watch it over and over again.
Watch it over and over again. So we only have 4 minutes, and I want to so first of all, you guys can follow James on Instagram at James Dumont. And he also has he does a lot of his Instagram stuff, and he has a company called OnCameraWorkouts.com. Tell us what that is, because that has something to do with acting, right?
Yeah, so I've been kind of coaching and teaching the last 8 years since I moved to New Orleans, where I live. It's my home. I still work in New York. I have an apartment in New York still, and I have a place to stay in when I'm in Los Angeles. So I'm kind of tri-coastal. I have been even before the pandemic. I mostly made my living off of doing self-tapes. So I would kind of shoot either whether I'm in Los Angeles, New York, New Orleans, for projects all over the world. So I kind of caught a wind of, I've been self-taping for 15 years, booked well over $1 million off of work, off of just self-tapes alone. Most of the time I don't meet with people until I get on set. So I figured out a way to kind of master something that when COVID hit, everybody was like, "Oh my God, how am I going to do these? I don't know how to do." So I just happened to be that guy that had water in the desert in March of 2020. And so to this day, I have about 1,600 students all over the world on Zoom in different countries: New York, LA, San Francisco, Atlanta, Chicago, Mexico City, Australia, London, you name it. And so I teach people an on-camera workout. I teach them how to work on camera in terms of self-tapes. I figured out a kind of way to kind of master it. It's an ongoing process. I don't have any magic sauce other than I've done thousands of auditions and booked hundreds of jobs, and that I have now watched, I don't know, 6,000-7,000 self-tapes from an actor's perspective, not a casting director who's in a different mindset in his selection and likes and dislikes. I'm looking at it from actor to actor, artist to artist, and ways in which to kind of master and figure out this is your frame, ceiling, shelf of your frame, eye lines in terms of primary and secondary, creating worlds and pictures on the other side of the frame. And so basically, you know, I've now looked at on-camera self-tapes as the new art form and the way in which that actors can compete anywhere at any point in time. Because you know, limited resources and because of COVID, you know, now they're having more actors being looked at in different markets all over the world. So a way in which to kind of compete and a way in which to kind of equal the playing field, whereas when there was live auditions, they could only see so many people in a given day. Now, in that same time period where they're seeing 6 to 8 people from very select agencies, very select management companies, where it was, you know, it was very inclusive and not, you know, not for everybody. Now you can see 300 to 500 actors, you know, all over the world in that same time period. So it gives more people an opportunity. So people really have to learn how to master the frame and learn how to do the work. I just before your interview started here, my manager said, you know, check your email. I got an appointment. So in the next 48 hours, I will be creating a human being. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's taking place. I don't know how long, but in the next 48 hours, I got a human being I'm going to create, shoot it, send it off, and my work is done. And then I'm on to the next one. So, you know,
so tell people, where did they go for that? Tell them where to go.
Our website is called oncameraworkouts.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at oncameraworkouts, plural. I also post up a lot of stuff on my Instagram, which is at James Dumont. But oncameraworkouts.com, we've been kicking around for like the last 8 years. And I do privates on Mondays and Tuesdays. Sometimes people want to run one class, and then Wednesday day, like today, I have what's called a lunch crunch, where people are learning how to do self-tapes on a regular. And then Wednesday nights, I do what's called core labs for 4 weeks, and I pick one particular project. Like this month, we're doing The Last of Us, episode 3, which my friend Nick Offerman got an Emmy for his role of Bill in Bill and Frank. And so this month we're going to do The Last of Us. Last month we did Past Lives, which was an Oscar-nominated film for Best Foreign Film and Best Screenplay. And then the month before that we did American Fiction, which won for Best Screenplay. We're
going to run out of time. I want to make sure. OnCameraWorkouts.com, you guys. Follow James on Instagram. It's James Dumont. Congratulations on what a stellar career. Really, you've been in such huge movies. We wish you only the most success with all of it. We want to thank Charles Sherman, PR, for helping set this whole interview up for us. And we want to thank you for coming on the show. You've been a terrific guest.
Thanks, man. Love to come back.
One last question. When do you think your uncle's life story will be on the screen?
That's a very good question. That's a good question. Hard to answer.
About a year, right? Year and a half.
I think I'll have a script ready in about a year, but then, when you're producing, it may take 10, 15 years before a project gets done. So you never know. Hopefully a lot sooner than that.
Okay. So folks, let's look forward to
Keep us in touch, and then whenever you have any big things coming out, just let us know, and we're Facebook friends.
I got some big stuff in the hopper already, but I can't talk about it till it comes out in August. So
perfect. So then
we start in August. And we start the Righteous Gemstones up. So hopefully people can watch us on the Righteous Gemstones on HBO. All the last 3 seasons are up there. So Danny McBride, John Goodman. It's an amazing show. Super funny. My son is actually on the show as well. My son plays Pontius, which is Danny McBride's son and John Goodman's grandson. So both of us Dumonts are on one show. It's kind of fun.
All right, James, thank you so much. Everybody, thanks. See you guys next week. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Bye.
again, Jim. Thank
You got it.
Can turn out to be so wrong.
Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Missing past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.